Like, I feel like majority of cheerleading is not physical. Right. So when that happened, everyone was like, huh? You know, some of the best teams that I've coached, the most successful teams that I've coached have been.
You know what? Let's just do it and get it done.
Yeah, we've been trying to do it for months now. Yeah.
So I just want to tell everybody, this is Coach Savannah. She's going to introduce herself. She'll be the best at introducing herself. Tell me a little bit about you. Go ahead.
Okay, so
give me the whole spiel.
I'm Coach Savannah. I currently work at Palm Beach Lightning. I've been here for about 3.5 years now. I have a daughter, my mother, but full-time cheer. Full-time cheerleading. I don't do anything else. Cheer only.
That's
yeah.
That's been your whole life.
Whole life. 4 years old all the way to now.
And tell me how you started. Tell me.
So I started cheering young, 4. I cheered all the way through my senior year, and then after I did open before and after my child. I pretty much stayed loyal to all my programs, but every program that I was with had, like, growing up, had something that had them close. So, like, the program I grew up at started at Palm Beach Elite in Boynton. They closed, and then everybody kind of migrated together to another gym, Royal Gems, and then after that, Ultimate. Everybody did Ultimate or came to PBL. It was like a split down the middle. And then after Ultimate, I jumped on a team like mid-season and competed at UCA. I got on the team the week of, and then I was there for a couple years, and then I started coaching at Flip City.
How old were you when you started coaching?
16. So then I was there for a little bit, and then...
Wait, hold on. You were coaching in as that athlete?
Yes, I was doing, I want to say I was doing senior 5 and senior 2. And then there was 1 year that I did a world's team and senior 2.
Were you there with, because I know I had Slate on the podcast, and he was also at Flip City. Were you there at that time with him?
Yes, I coached him.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, damn. That's cool. But you didn't cheer with him?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
Because he was on a junior, and I was like already older. So, yeah.
But you were, at that point, were you an athlete as well, though?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I was coaching 2 years. I did 2 years of coaching and cheering. So, like, double teaming plus coaching.
Damn,
yeah.
That's a lot.
It was great. I loved it. So, yeah.
Did you love cheer from the get-go, or was it something that your mom was
I feel like, no, that was it. Like, I started, and that was it. I did ballet, like, younger, and then I did ballet and cheer together, and then it was like, okay, like, this is just not for me. It's not for me.
And you say, Mom, I want to do cheer.
And that was it. Cheer only. And, like, even my dad, like, tried to encourage me to, like, try other things and, like, do other sports. Obviously, I'm, like, tall.
Yeah.
I'm 5'10". Like, I have a big build, like, you know, a athletic build. Like, you know, and here I am cheering. So, I mean, my parents tried, but, I mean, in high school, I played a little bit of softball, but that was it. I was cheer only.
They tried putting you in another sport?
Well, my little sister played softball, and she was, like, really good. She tried to cheer, wasn't that good. I was a cheerleader. My family was really involved in cheer, so, like, I think my sister just did it to, like fit in with the family. Oh, yeah. And then she finally started playing softball and, like, found her thing. But, you know, I tried. I did softball for a year, and I was like, that's it. That was it. Cheer. Cheer, 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 cheer. I didn't care about anything. Like, I didn't care about school. I didn't care about boys. I just cared about cheer.
Let me ask you something. You as a young coach, did you enjoy coaching, or were you were just?
I was kind of just like thrown into it on a large scale. But yeah, I instantly knew, like, I knew I would be in cheer, but I don't think, like, at the time, I don't think I knew, like, how far it was gonna go. So when I started coaching, it was, like, easy. Like, it came to me, like, I was able to, like, even though I was so young and still actively cheering in the program, like, I was able to, like, get the command of the kids, even though to some teams I was really, like, a peer. Like, I was coaching a junior 2. Some of those junior 2 kids were cross-competing on my senior 2, like, cheering with me. So, you know, but it definitely was something that kind of just happened, and I got thrown in and had to just figure it out, which I also think is, like, why I've, like, been able to be as successful as I am, because I really didn't have, like, any guidance. It was kind of just like, okay, figure it out. Like, here, this is what's happening. You're doing it. Make it happen. So, yeah.
How did you deal with other like other kids being on your same team and getting that respect from them?
I think like on my own teams, like I feel like I was already a leader, like so it was easy to be like, you know, once you gain the trust of like your friends and you know, it's easy to be like, hey guys, this is what we're doing, especially when you do that not in a leadership role. So it kind of was like normal. It wasn't like a big change. It was kind of like, oh, well, she's on my team. She's already like telling me things.
So there was no challenge. There was no challenge. No, like I mean, nobody like butted heads with you.
Of course, there's always going to be that one person on the team. But I mean, overall, I really did have like a smooth experience. And like, you know, I mean, that was the best. The teams were really strong. Like it was a little tough at first. Like I don't think I had like, those teams were already like operating on such a high level that I feel like I was a little intimidated at first. Like, oh my gosh, like if this goes bad, it's pretty much on me. So, you know, I just kept, you know, trying to just do what I thought was right. And like, obviously I have so much experience. Like I've been a cheerleader my whole entire life. So I use my own personal like experiences to like help me through coaching other people. Like, what do I like that other coaches do? What do I not like? What type of coaches do I respond to better? Like, you know, so I feel like to me as an athlete, like you're super in touch because you know secondhand exactly what it's like to be on the receiving end of what you're dishing out technically. So
as far as like your supporters when you were doing this, who was your best supporter? Who
I will say, so like my parents.
Who was your biggest supporter? Your dad or your mom? Or both?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know because my parents like as a unit did not miss anything. Like my dad was my driver, so probably without Jim I wasn't getting into the competitions or practice. But I mean, yeah, my parents were both like when I was on a mini team, my mom was our team mom, and there was like 32 minis on my team. My mom was pregnant with my sister, still doing the team mom thing. So like my parents were actively involved like in my cheer career the whole entire time. Like did not miss anything. There was like a little spurt of time where my mom like was a little bit sick and like couldn't travel and stuff. But my dad took me, and it was, I mean, my dad was spraying on my spray tans and doing all the things. So and even after, like I cheered on an open team after, so I had a baby obviously, and then so my mom stayed home with the baby and my dad flew to Dallas with me. Oh, wow. So, yeah, he was cutting out my hairpiece. So, really, honestly, my parents, like, even now, like, I don't cheer anymore, but, like, I'm gone. That's who my daughter stays with. So, and they get it. Like, they've grown up with me in it. So, you know, they completely get it. So, and they still come out. They still come to, like, they'll come to showcase. They'll, you know, even just this past weekend we were coming to Summit, I left my necklace that my daughter, she wrote on the iPad. So she wrote on the iPad and like engraved like a little bee and a heart on it, and I wear it literally every day, and I took it off to spray tan and I left it, and I called my mom and I was like, I have a favor to ask, can you bring me my laptop and my necklace? And she came, my dad, my mom, and my daughter drove to the gym, dropped me my necklace off. So, I mean, they're committed. They know exactly what it's like, so.
Nice. As far as coaching, what has been like one of your biggest like accomplishments and struggles?
So I think like if you would have asked me what my biggest accomplishment 3 years ago would have been, I probably would have given you like a super like surface level answer, like, oh, cheer sport, NCAA, Summit. Like I would have given you something like that. But I feel like now, just in the last like 2 years, like all the changes that I've been through, like I feel like the biggest accomplishment really to myself is just like knowing that I can step foot in any type of program and make any type of kid good. Like, you know, I don't think I've never been handed like the most talented athlete, or I've never been in, you know, a mega gym. So, you know, you get handed those kids that really are raw and like just they're not perfect, and you have to get them to close as perfect as you can. And I feel like to me, like some of the best coaches are the coaches that can coach anyone to success. So that is now like my biggest accomplishment is I really can say I can step foot in any program with any type of kid and figure something out.
What has been one of your biggest struggles then?
As a coach. My biggest struggles as a coach, I think since I started coaching so young and I didn't have a lot of guidance, like I really was like fending for myself. Like I wasn't a junior coach. I took on a head coaching role immediately. So, you know, I feel like there was some things that, again, even just the last 3 years have been like huge years for me. But I feel like you prioritize things at a younger age that aren't as important once you get some time in, or you get some wins under your belt, or you have a child of your own. Like, your priorities and things that are important kind of switch. Yeah. And like, the more things you go through with kids, like, at the end of the day, like, they're your athletes, but they go through like real life. So like, it's being able to say like, okay, it's okay that this kid is having a bad day today. Like, we're going to look past that and we'll survive. Like, when maybe back in the day I was like, absolutely not. You're going to be at 100% all the time, like a robot. So I think the biggest struggle for me is just being able to like let go of some things that aren't that important. Like, even just taking a loss. Like, I might still be, but I do not like to lose, especially when I feel like I'm losing for no reason. Like, whether it's a little mistake that happens or lack of good scoring or whatever it is, like, no one ever wants to lose. But I feel like the people that really do genuinely like put 110% into the product that they're putting out, no one wants to, you don't want to take a loss on that. So, but I don't even call it a struggle. It's just one of those things that you have to like figure out is a thing and just work through it.
How long has that been since you have like moved on from that older you and now?
So I definitely think it was like two things. So definitely once I had a child of my own, I'm super protective. I'm super mama bear. So like, there's some times where I feel like as like a younger version of myself, like even still now, like I'm tough. Like I'm tough. I demand a lot. Like, but I just feel.
I've heard.
Yeah. I mean, you see, you're at the gym.
I see it. But you know what? The thing with being tough that you're saying, some people are not used to that.
Correct.
And some people take it possibly the wrong way and leave or complain. Yep. And I'm just going to be honest, right? So we're having this conversation. So some people are not used to it. Like, I'll tell you, like my kids, I don't think they've ever been babied by me or anything. Like, I'm really tough on them. So when they meet somebody like you, that's also tough on them, it's kind of like a
second nature.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, I've been through this, so, right? And other kids have not, right? So how do you deal with different athletes that are like, that'll start bawling, crying because you yelled at them, you know what I mean?
So I think the response that kids give to you as their coach is always, every kid is different, right? So I sit 50-50 on like, okay, every kid is different. You have to coach every kid a different way. Like, I believe that to a certain extent, but I also feel like it's like kind of a crutch. Like, I feel like once you gain the trust of the kid and also the trust of the parent, like, there really is nothing in the way. Like, because they know, like, hey, she's going to get on me at practice about every single little thing, and I'm going to condition. It's going to be hard. I'm going to cry. Like, it's going to be tough, but at the end of the day, like, I trust her enough to, like, do it. So I feel like for me, some of the best teams that I've coached, the most successful teams that I've coached, have been the sets of parents that don't give me any pushback. Like, they truly buy in. They truly trust exactly what I'm doing. And that doesn't always just come. Like, it's either been because they've seen a team that I've coached before, or their kid has been on a team of mine that's been built from the bottom to the top. So, you just have to, there has to be a level of trust. Like, there has to be like, okay, this lady is absolutely crazy, but I know what's going to happen if I do this, so I'm going to do it. Right. So you just have to find and every kid is different. Like, and like you said, like you feel like you're tough on your children, so when I'm tough on them, it's okay. So where some parents, they don't even raise their voice in their house. So when they come into my practice and I'm already just loud, they're like, oh my God, this lady. Like, so, I take those things into account again, but it's just the trust. Like, the lady that doesn't yell at her kid at home, you trust me enough that in this loud, high pressure environment, whatever I'm yelling is correct and is beneficial to not only your kid, but
But you don't know that. Like, correct. Meeting the kid, you don't know what their situation is at home.
That's another thing. Like, when you're as tough as I am and you demand as much as I demand out of my kids and out of my teams, I always am aware, like, hey, like, there's going to be some parents that are like, hey, I need to come in send an email, give a phone call. Like, I know that those things are coming. And, you know, I feel like sometimes, like, parents, like I said, like, I snap into mama bear mode really quick. So I feel like there is those parents that their kids get in the car and they bust out crying and their mom's like, oh my God, I'm going to kill that lady. Yeah. And I'm like, listen, this is what actually happened. Right. You know, so once you get that, like, rapport with the parents, it is easy. And, like, I think the most important thing that I always try to set the tone at the beginning of the season, which is something new that I started doing, like, I love a parent meeting in the beginning of the year. Like, let me tell you who I am. Let me tell you how I operate. And if there is ever an issue, like, come and find me before you know, gossip with your parent friends or complain or pull your kid. Like, let's talk about it. Yeah. Like, you know, because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. Right. So it's just having, like, that good communication. And at the end of the day, that builds trust. Like, I've had kids who, you know, couldn't stand me. And their parents couldn't stand me. And, you know, they got successful, meaningful years with me. Yeah. And now they're, like, attached. They're like, I love her. Like, you know, so it is painful. And you don't want to be that person that you feel like the parents don't like you or the kids don't like you. You don't want to be that person. But I feel like I've become comfortable with being that person for a small amount of time. Because once it wears off, like, it's great.
It just takes time. I feel like it takes time to meet you, because I'll tell you right now, and I'll be honest with you, when the first time you came to PBL, Palm Beach Lightning, you came with a lot of already people talking about you and how you were, you know, from previous gyms or whatever, and people were like, you know, she's tough, she yells, almost like you were mean to the kids, right? But nobody knew you, so everybody was like
rolling with the story.
Like, just, you know, so I'm always the type, and, you know, obviously, you know, they would hear that, and I would be like, you know what, just give her a chance, you know, let's get to see what you do and how you really are. You know, you can't just, there's always two sides to every story. So you can't believe everything you hear, you know. And so it was tough because at one point Mila did not want to tumble, right? Yeah. And she was nervous because, you know, it was just that thing that she wanted to tumble, but because you were so tough, like, she was scared. Either Aria or Mila, both of them. And then all of a sudden, like, it was just like a switch. I don't know, you gave her some kind of good praise because she tumbled good, and it was like a switch, and then she wanted to tumble. It was just like that little thing, you know, that got her like, okay, and I can trust you. Like you said, you know, it just takes time. And so it was tough for some of the people that were there because, you know, they're always hearing stories, but they don't know you. So it just
I feel like to the blind eye, like, you look at me, I'm tall. My nails are long. My hair is black. My lashes are long. Like, to the blind eye, I'm loud. Like, you know, so to the blind eye, they're like, oh, whoa, who is that lady? Right. So, you know, but
they don't know what you have, what you're bringing. Correct. They don't know like the experience you're bringing.
Too, like, whenever I get into those meetings where, you know, some parents might not be as understanding, you know, and they're like, you know, you're mean, my kid feels horrible because of the things that you say, and I'm like, or you shouldn't be working with kids. I'm like, hold on a second, I have a child at home. So, you know, that's always tough to hear because I'm like, okay, you're telling me that I shouldn't work with kids, and I'm a whole mother out here. Exactly. So, you know, but I get it. My kid scrapes her knee, and I'm like, who did it and why? And it was her. She ran and hurt her knee. So I get it, but, you know, I get it to a certain extent. Because I truly believe, like, you don't just walk into, you know, this isn't Starbucks. You don't get to come into, you know, ultimately as a parent, you're paying for a service. However, you chose this program. So whatever program it is. So, you know, you don't get to just walk in here and say, it's not Starbucks. You don't get to say, oh, I want a Frappuccino with no whipped cream. It doesn't work like that. Like, they're kids. They don't operate that quickly. They don't, you know, it takes a lot of time. And of course, some kids pick up easier than others, and some kids will take to a new coach better than others. And some parents are accepting of just a more aggressive type of person than others are. So, you know, you just have to, again, you chose this program. You're trusting. When you ultimately decide, this is where my kid is going to cheer, this is where I'm going to put all my money, you're ultimately you're putting full trust in that program. And to me, if there's ever a gap in trust between you and your child's program, like, there's always going to be some type of issue, or doubt. Yeah. And to me, like, if you have that doubt, then that's why I don't really believe in, like, the term, like, gym hopping or,
Yeah, the grass is not always green on the other side.
Yeah, it's not. And so, I mean, sometimes it is. Like, go find we're in South Florida. There is plenty of programs. Like, go find what works best for you and your children. But the only thing that I ask with that is, like, give it time. Be understanding. Try to get an understanding. Don't just have one bad day and be like, pull next gym. Like, you have to give it time, and your kids adjust. Like, they build trust. They see, like, okay, she's not mean, she just wants to get this done, and then when things are done, it's time to play. I love to hang out, but when things are done, so.
And I believe parents also want their kids to grow, and they want to see that. And I'll be honest with you, like I told you earlier before this conversation, I said I love what you've done with Emeralds. Emeralds is this new team. I think, how many have cheered there? I mean, I don't know.
So we have a team of 17 right now, and we're sitting at Summit, and not one of them has ever put their feet on the floor at Summit.
Not one of them. And I see this team, and from where it started to now, I mean, again, I love what you've done with it. They look so good.
They're like my little baby right now. I wasn't coaching in the beginning of the season. Right. And I came back to coach Emeralds.
In your opinion, what's one critical factor that you need in cheerleading to have a strong team?
I think a lot of it is just mental, like, toughness. Like, I feel like majority of cheerleading is not physical. It is 100% mental. Like, if we do some hard stuff. Like, and not only are you in a sport, like, you're not in a sport where you're swimming and you're only relying on yourself. You're relying on whoever's on the floor. Good, bad, or ugly. Like, you have to be able to trust the people next to you. So, I feel like it's hard to get kids that are able, especially at a young age, that are competing at a high level. So, a youth 1 team that's super competitive, a youth level 4 team that's super competitive, a junior one, like, any age or level, like, they're still kids. So, like, you're having to explain to them, like, okay, like, this hurts your body. You're getting kicked in the face, like, but just keep going and smile. Like, it's crazy if you think about it. But, I feel like getting the kids to mentally just want to do the hard stuff is the hardest thing. And, it's also the most important. Like, that's why I truly do believe, like, my practices are very hard. Like, especially when I have a team that I feel like needs those reps or needs the conditioning or anything, or is new to the level, like, you have to put in the extra work. I just feel like that's always the hardest part. Like, can I mentally handle this? Like, you have to push. I feel like this is one of the things I'm really good at. Like, I feel like I can push the kids to that point where they're like, okay, my body literally cannot go anymore. Like, I'm tired. We've done this 100 times. I've ran. I've thrown up. I'm still doing it. And I'm going to make you go again because I believe that you can do it. Yeah. So I feel like that's one of the things that's, like, made me super successful is, like, I feel like I can gauge the room and, like, read the kids enough to know, like, hey, I can make them do this. Like, I can run them into the ground and ask them to set up a full out, and I know they're going to hit because I've built that, like, and they don't know exactly when you're doing it or how you're doing it, but just like when I make them jump to the A-count track or when I make them run outside and then hit their stunt and run outside and hit the next stunt, like, I'm preparing them, I'm putting them in harder situations than they'll ever be faced with when I press play and they just got to go one time. Right. So to me, if I can put you in those situations and you can handle it, it's nothing for me to just press this music one time at competition, then you're going to hit. Right. So, and when they feel that, it's like, okay, like, she's had me yakking and doing all this crazy stuff, and I've hit before, so this is light work. Right. So, yeah.
And I think the conditioning and all that helps them get prepared mentally for their practices 100%. And stuff, right? 100%. Yeah.
I think the biggest testament to that was Pearls last year. We took a level majority. Again, I love a good case. Yes. I always get those teams where they're, I don't want to call them project teams, but I always do get the teams that are not perfect. and I will get them to as close as perfect as I need to get them. And that team last year, like, they conditioned harder than any team in our gym.
Yeah. You
like,
think so, really?
100 pearls last year?
Yeah.
Yes. They conditioned every practice. They ran a lot. They stunted a lot. They got tired and went again, like 5 full outs. And they were...
I got to say, you were tough on them.
Yeah.
You were tough.
And I started that from day one through because I knew what was on the line. Like, you know, some kids left that team because they felt like it wasn't going to be good enough.
Yes.
You know, we had multiple kids be like, oh, this team isn't good. Never mind. And go down to other gyms or other teams that were less than. Yeah. So I was like, oh.
Well, we went to Cheersport with them, didn't we? Was it Cheersport? Yes. That's what.
And that was a tough one. That was a tough one. But I do feel like taking that loss at Cheersport, like, you know, it made them prepared for Summit. And you're talking about kids that are level 2. None of those kids have been on level 3 or level 4. And we're taking you level 4 stunting, level 2 tumbling. Yeah. That's a huge jump. So to be able to come out that day one at Summit, they blew me away. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is exactly what I wanted all year long.
Yeah, I remember you started crying.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I did. I couldn't even help it.
I know. You were bawling. I was like, Savannah's crying. I was like, oh my God.
That was the first time that I feel like everyone in the gym was like, oh my gosh, it cries. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was just crazy because like that team was so fresh, and like a lot of those kids like were on the first team that I ever had at PBO. Yeah. Like I coached Sapphires when I first got here. Yeah. So like it was just nice to be able to like show them like, hey, look, I know it's been a crazy couple years, but here we go. This is what we did it for. Like, what were they sitting in third coming in? Yeah. Out of day one. So that's all you can ask for a brand new team to walk in here and on the biggest stage of the year to just smack on some teams that have been together for who knows how long. So
was Summit the where you asked them to come back in practice? Was it Summit or Cheersport that you guys were doing pretty good? And oh my God, the kickback on that was kind of.
So after Cheersport,
was it Cheersport or was it Summit?
It was after Cheersport because I was sitting on the plane. I'm infamous for sitting on. I get my best work done on the airplane, especially after a loss. Yeah. I'm sitting on the plane across from Allie. And I sat on my iPad the whole entire time, and I put together, like, the practice plan for the rest of the year. I moved them to 3-day-a-week practices, no phones. They had to come competition ready. Like, the standard just changed because I felt like we just got beat for no reason. Yeah. So, and obviously the next thing up after that was Summit. So I started planning for Summit as soon as I lost Cheersport.
No, wait, I was talking about that Cheersport the first day one. You said we're going upstairs to fix some stuff. Yeah, remember?
Day one, they made a mess.
Oh yeah, everybody wanted to leave, and you were like, "Let's go upstairs."
I'm already at dinner. I'm already this place, right, and I was like, "Well, whoever doesn't show up to practice, I'm replacing you." Yeah,
you even did it for one of the other teams. One of the teams that my daughter was on, you did it as well. They had to do some stunting and stuff like that.
So, I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here for competition. Yeah. So if my kid was on the team and we just kind of made a mess, we're going upstairs. It's McDonald's for dinner. Like, I don't care about your reservation. Like, I care that we spent all this money to come here. We're gonna figure this out. Yeah. So, and it's not only that, but it's same thing like what I was just explaining about, like when I brought them back from Cheersport. Like, that was not okay. That was not the standard. That was not what you were coached to do. So something's missing. So I gotta crack down and get my hands around what's going on because this isn't what we came here for. So I said, if you want to go to dinner, that's fine because I'll put someone in this spot today. And I truly feel like that because it's like, okay, that just shows me that if there's 16 people on the team out of a team of 17 and one person would rather go sit at their dinner reservation than come up here and do whatever it takes, you don't deserve whatever reward comes from what we're about to do. And I brought them upstairs. I said, your parents can stay here. We're going to read this score sheet, and we're going to do this pyramid 5,000 times. Yeah. And we're going to stop at every single count. We're going to stop, and we're going to hold it, and then we're going to go again. And I was sending them back, do it again. They could place it out in one person's hand. I'm like, do it again. I was watching their grips. Boom. You put your 4 fingers in and 3 fingers instead of 4. Do it again. Like, I wanted it perfect. So, it's just one of those things. And I knew those parents were mad. They were like looking at me like, this lady, like, I'm ready to go. It's taking forever. Like, and that's background noise to me because once I get my eyes on something, that's it. Yeah. And if you don't want to do it, fine. Yeah. More power to you. But We're doing it. This team's doing it.
That's so funny because,
Yeah.
So what is something that you do every day that gets you where you want to be?
So I feel like obviously I'm full-time cheerleading. So anything, whether it's, anything that's going to prepare me better for what I have next. So whether it's competition, whether it's a practice, whether it's a coming off a bad event or going into whatever it is, like I just make sure that so say it's a Sunday night and I'm going into practice Monday, I know exactly what I want to do. Like I'll get on the video, I'll watch, I'll make a plan for practice, I'll, whatever needs to be done to get me to the next, whatever the next.
So you're constantly preparing, even when you're at home.
It never stops.
You're thinking cheerleading the whole time.
I mean,
are you really for real thinking
coming home from the gym at night is so hard because it takes me so long to turn my brain off. Because I get in practice 2 hours sometimes. When I come in there, Mike says it the best. If I come in the gym and I got my notebook, it's done. Everybody better be quiet and we're doing this because I want to get through my whole entire notebook by the end of the day. So it's just one of those things where I get if I see something or something catches my eye, I have to get it done. I have to fix it. I have to get it done. It's got to get done right then. So, yeah, I come in on a mission and it's getting done.
So when you go home, you're thinking cheerleading.
I can never turn it off.
Do you review other teams and watch other teams
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like that?
yeah.
Or watch your own teams and see what they have to fix?
And I think, too, working with other programs and, being in other programs and, having friends from other programs. And my friends are choreographers, they're music producers, they're, it gives you so many different, you see so many different things and you hear so much different feedback and you see, I have friends all over. So, we see the Cali teams, you see the teams in Atlanta, you see the teams on the West Coast, you see the teams up north and New York and all the things. And, I feel like having your hands and, even just having friends that send you videos, it just elevates your team so much more because you just you see so many things. Sometimes I get at practice and I'm looking at it and my eyes just go and I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. But I'll get it, and it could be the littlest thing. Sometimes, when I do my list of notes for practice on the notebook, it'll be the littlest thing, tell so and so to move an inch over. Or so-and-so's, ponytail is flipping to any time. Sometimes it's the littlest thing. It doesn't have to be anything big, but it bothers me.
Okay, we're talking about that ponytail thing. What's up with Emeralds or I think it's any team, no kissy face? What's up with that? It's what's up with the no kissy face thing?
So the no kissy face thing is I know when you get your pictures and you're and I'm no Fredo, no kissy face. It's just when you're sitting so far back, the last thing you want to see a kid do the whole entire time is go.
Okay.
I don't want to see it.
Right.
I want you to open your mouth. I want you to open your eyes. I want you to sing the words. I want you to have fun. I don't want to see. We pay a lot of money for our music, right. So I don't want to see you sitting there going just sing the words, have fun, right. Perform. Yeah. Don't look forced. I feel sometimes when the kids do the kissy face, it looks oh my gosh, my mom making me do it. No, I want you to look like you want to do it.
Oh my God.
The kissy face is a no for me.
Are you gonna have your child cheer? Does she want to cheer? Do you want her to cheer? Wait, do you want her to cheer?
I want her to. This sounds so awful, but I want her to do anything that she's really good at.
Right. Okay.
I just want her to do something, and I want her to be really good at it.
Right.
I don't care if she cheers or not.
Right.
I really don't. I actually prefer not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't think I can handle it. I don't think I'm mentally strong enough to handle my child cheering. And I don't think I could sit back and let her be coached.
Oh, really?
No. So last summer we tried cheer, didn't work. She couldn't pay attention, whatever.
Yeah.
But just in the last couple months, 5.
She's 5, okay.
So just in the last couple months though, she's been obsessed over the world teams.
Oh, really?
And I'm sweetie, we got a long, long road before we get here. But you know what? Fine. So, I took her to Worlds, so she got a trampoline for Christmas. So I'll get on the trampoline with her. I'll teach her a dance or two. How to mark a stunt. But, yeah. And when I teach her, the routine she sees on TikTok and stuff, obviously I'm teaching her, the flying part, the flying roll.
Right.
No, baby, you picking somebody up.
Yeah. Right.
So, we had that conversation multiple times. She's marking a lib and I'm baby, no, you're going to be the person on the bottom. You're going to be like mommy. You're going to be holding people up.
Did you ever fly?
I flew one time on my open level 7 team. So on level 7, obviously you stack stunts on top of each other. Right. So the girl that was in the middle that held the other girl, so like she did a thigh stand, she had a missed competition for something. She was flying in and had a missed competition. So I got to fly the thigh stand and pick up the other girl off the top. Wow. And I was like, oh, this is my debut. I always wanted to fly. And then literally the day of the competition, the girl ended up getting in early enough and made it to competition and I couldn't fly. And I was so upset.
Oh, man.
Gosh, I'm finally going to get my day to fly. And she shows up. Whatever. Man, it's fine.
That's funny. What's that one thing that you'd say makes your athletes successful?
I feel like my kids are always, in comparison to other kids, whether it's from another program or whatever, I feel like my kids are always just a little bit tougher and a little bit more just like wanting. Like I feel like I always want my kids to want it instead of just me telling them to do it. Like I don't mind having teams that are like, oh, I want to beat them. There's this team and I want to beat them. I am here for that. We're in a competitive sport. Yeah. So I'm here for the sportsmanship. However, you are in a competitive sport. So
that's tough to balance sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. Yeah, but
you always keep
this is what we signed up for.
You want to win, right? Yeah. Exactly, right.
So, I feel like my kids are always tougher because I always put them in situations that maybe other people don't put them in. Or other coaches don't put their kids in. Yeah. So, and Emeralds is a perfect example of that. Like, there's been times where we've been in warm-ups and I'll catch them, like, picking up on mannerisms of mine. And, like, they're loud, they're counting loud, they want people to look at them, they're, like, doing their motions all aggressive. And I'm like, okay, we learned something here. Yeah. You want people to look at you. Right. You want to demand, like, so to me, like, having kids that are coming from prep or never cheered or all that, and they're able to walk around with that type of confidence is like, okay, like,
you're doing something right.
You're a kid of mine.
Yeah, right.
I always say that. Right. Yeah. I always say that. I'm like, there's no reason to be nervous. Like, y'all are my kids. Like, my kids don't get nervous. So, but.
So if you were able to go back in time or change something or do something different, what would you change?
Oh gosh. I feel like if I was able to go back without being too specific, if I was able to change anything, I feel like I would change my, like, kind of hot temperament that I had younger, because I feel like I was quick to just be like, oh, bye, or, forget you, bye. Like, I feel like I never really was like, okay, well, let's talk it out. It was always 0 to 100. Boom.
Like, so wait, 0 to 100, or would you just, like, get mad and, like, not talk to me, avoid it, and walk away?
Both. It's either like, okay, you just made me upset, I'm going to tell you all about it, or you just made me upset, don't talk to me. Like, so, I've had to get better about that, because I've had to deal with, I go into programs that aren't my own. I have to deal with parents that I don't know. Like, right. So the more you have to get out in the industry, I feel like it makes you so much tougher when it comes to things that you usually don't have to deal with. Right. As a coach, sometimes you can kind of just, your owners take care of it, your director takes care of it, but when you're on your own and you're representing for yourself, you kind of don't have a choice. You got to have the hard conversations. Yeah. So I've had to learn how to, I might not always like what somebody's saying to me or how they're saying it, but, at the end of the day, I do trust what I do and how I do it.
But that was the old you, though.
Yeah. I feel like now I'm like, okay, let's talk. You want to talk about it? Fine. It's probably still going to go how I want it to go, but we'll talk about it. Right. So. Yeah.
You've never wanted to cheer for Top Gun? Has that ever, like, every kid's dream is like, I want to be on TGLC, or I want to be on...
So funny enough, because I just took my kid to Worlds because she's obsessed with Brandon Senior Black. I always wanted to be on Brandon.
Wait, I just want to say something. I love Brandon Senior Black. Shout out to Brandon Senior Black. I wanted
to be on Brandon.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Back in the day when Brandon had Brandon Senior Pink, I was obsessed. They don't have that team anymore. Okay. But I always wanted to be on Brandon Senior Pink, and then I always wanted to be on Brandon Senior Black, which is so funny because now my daughter, who knows nothing about cheer, is, like, obsessed.
She's obsessed with them? Wow.
Yeah.
If you were 10 years younger, so you're how old now?
26.
26. If you're 16, and think about where you were at that time, relationship, career, family, friendships, and you can think about where you were then, what advice would you give your 10-year-old self?
So my 16-year-old
Your 16-year-old self, yeah.
Me at 16. Jesus. Just to... I'd probably listen to my parents a little better. Because I feel like everything they've ever told me to do, I didn't do. And then I end up doing it just like 5 years later. But no, just to be you. Like, don't ever, like, you know, even younger, like, people were always like, oh, she's aggressive, or she's kind of mean, or, you know, she's so strong-willed, she, you know, and now, to me, like, those are some of, like, the best things about myself. So, like, there was always times where I was like, oh, like, no one's gonna like me because I speak my mind, or because I don't always go with what everybody else is doing. Like, I didn't always have a lot of, like, I know a lot of people, but I don't have a lot of friends. So, like, I was always, like, where in middle school or high school, like, my girlfriends at cheer would have, like, 15 friends in their friend group, and here I am with my 2, and I'm like, oh, well, is there something wrong with me? Like, no, nothing's wrong with you. Like, you know, I just feel like I would tell myself to just stay with what I know. And, like, my mom and my parents were always pro, like, speak your mind. My mom is, like, a tough lady, you know, Angela. You know, so just like be confident and just don't let anybody steer you. I feel like there's this thin line between being like confident and almost like maybe arrogant in a way, but like just be yourself. And if that's you live it. Like, if that is 100% how you are, what you are, and what you believe in, roll with it.
Nice. That's one of the best advice that you can give to anybody. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I want to get a little more spicy on this, like about your relationship with Cheer Florida. Okay, because when you came to PBL, we were all wondering what happened, and you know there was so many rumors of what happened. So I want you to tell your story. What happened? Was it good? Was it bad? Do you want to talk about it? If you don't want to talk about it,
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like you said. I feel like it was a big moment for everyone. Like, I feel like me coming to PBL was like a whoa moment for everybody. Yeah. For me, for Mike and Allie, for Dom, who I called at 1:00 in the morning and said, "Give me Allie's number." Like, It was a shock for everybody. So, you know, I definitely regret how this separation happened between obviously myself and Cheer Florida, but I feel like the time like spent apart, I was just forced to like look at myself a lot and look at, you know, being in a program that I'm not comfortable in, or with parents that I don't know, or, you know, it caused me to grow a lot. So I feel like, you know, when it was just, you know, a disagreement, like a small disagreement, just obviously went to something bigger than what it was. But at the end of the day, like, you know, I did spend a lot of time there. I spent some of my most important coaching moments there. That is a huge part of my career, and like who people know me as was Savannah from Cheer Florida. So, you know, obviously I had my daughter while I was there, you know, my best friend works there, like, you know, so there is a lot of
memories.
There's a lot of you know, some of those kids have been you know, I took the first level 1 team from Cheer Florida to Summit. You know, there was a lot of firsts for me as a coach, and then also just like obviously my Summit win there, my Cheersport win, like, you know, I had some big moments there. Like, I was able to maintain strong teams, the same teams, Unicorns, Phoenix, Medusa. Like, I felt like those were my teams, and I owned them, and good, bad, and ugly, they were mine. Right. So, you know, I feel like that's so hard to replace and let go of. So, you know, obviously the adjustment was hard. But you know, it's in a much better place now. Like, things have been talked about, you know, that situation with them has kind of been like worked through.
So you went back and like talked.
Yeah, you know, I feel like it's anything in life. You know, time, everything settles. It was a big moment. So there was a lot of rumors. There was a lot of gossip. There was a lot of he said, she said, what happened. Oh my, like, it was a big moment. And I feel like it happened so fast, and I wasn't no one expected it. I wasn't expecting it. I came to PBL quickly. I was here within the day.
Really?
Yeah. I called that, that separation kind of happened late at night, and I called Dom that night. I was like, put me in touch with Allie. Because, like, I'm the type of person where it was like, I'm never going to give up cheer.
Yeah.
So, like, what was I going to do? It's November. Season has started. This is what I do. This is my job. Like, I have to go, as much as it was hard for me, I had to move on to the next thing.
Right.
So, and that's any career, whether it's corporate America, cheerleading, relationships, boyfriend, like, that's anything.
Yeah.
Life has to go. Yeah. So, like, I feel like that year, my first year away, obviously was mid-season, so it was tough because I felt like I left a lot behind. I just came off of a summit win. The night that I left Cheer Florida, my junior 4 had just hit 0 for the first time.
Oh, wow.
So, there was just, and some of that was a big year for a lot of my kids too. Like, a lot of my kids had leveled up to teams they had been trying to make, or, a lot of my kids had made the world's team. So, like, there was a lot of, that year was just so weird for me to, I don't want to say abandon them, but, leave them. Yeah. So, it was tough. And I feel like it still is tough, because I was a huge part of a lot of those people's lives as they were mine. Like, all those, staff at Cheer Florida was there when I had my kids. Some of them were in the room, like, so, like, we were close.
Yeah. Is that the program that you spend most time on?
Yeah.
Cheer Florida?
Yeah. Yeah, I spent most of my time. I coached 4 or 5 teams a year there. So
4 teams?
Yeah.
You had 4 teams?
There was one year I coached in both locations. I coached an inaugural senior 3 in Wellington, a co-ed senior 3 in Coconut Creek, a youth 1 in Coconut Creek, a junior 2 in Wellington. Like, I always had a lot of teams. So, I was in contact with a lot of kids. Like, I was in contact with a lot of kids. I had a lot of parents. Like, and again, I feel like everyone, and when I say everyone, I mean, like, the outside looking in, like, the industry and my friends and everyone from other programs just always saw me always being there. Yeah, right. So when that happened, everyone was like, huh? Yeah. So, and really and truly, like, it really did get blown up into maybe something it wasn't. It was just a disagreement that, and, it says in an email. Cheer Florida and Savannah decided to part ways. Like, and honestly, that's really all it was. Right. And again, of course, there's, like, I love PBO, and, Mike and Allie took me in right away despite what anybody said. Right. So, that's something that you can't replace. Yeah. So, it's definitely tough. Yeah. And I still, to this day, like, I have to see, we're local to each other, right? So I still see those kids. I still see those parents. So that first year was, like, it was tough. Yeah. The kids would run up to me. They're crying. I saw that. A lot of people saw it. And I feel like I didn't realize the effect that I had on them until I was gone. Yeah. And it even could just be one kid that I didn't maybe notice as much. And, a parent that I wasn't as close to. And they're like, my kid wasn't always, like, in, some kids, they push themselves on you, or they, some kids aren't like that. They don't want to hang out, they don't have those personalities. And, there was one kid in particular who was, like, super quiet, and, like, I didn't even know that the mom liked me. Like, she was always just kind of there. Yeah. And she came up to me at an event and was, like, in tears. And she was like, she doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, I was shocked because I didn't realize that was, like, a thing. Like, I knew who my people were. Like, I had some kids that would just
gravitate to you.
Yes. Yeah. So, and it was hard on everybody. Like, I was crying at competition, like, and I feel like Mike and Allie were so understanding of the fact, like, hey, I'm at PBL, but yeah, a lot of my heart is still over at Cheer Florida. Right. So, and it was hard when I came. Like, I was scared to make, like, new relationships with new kids and new parents. Like, I was still going through, it took me a long time to let that go. Yeah. And, whether it was let it go because I was sad, let it go because I missed my teams, let it go because, I didn't have those same teams anymore. Like, I had a lot of things to just, like, okay. And I feel like it took me about a year and a half to be like, okay, this is over. Like, I can close this part. And then that's kind of when everything went back to normal. Like, you know, I'm able to see everybody and like not get upset, and I'm able to see people on staff and like we're still really good friends. Like again, my best friend works there, so you know, it was tough. It was tough. It was tough. But again, I feel like right now, like it's in a great place. Like everything's good. There is no more like awkward, like tiptoe, like, you know, I feel like that, you know, there's been conversations that everybody's been able to talk and like get their piece out. And I feel like everyone, at the end of the day, everybody kind of felt the same way. I felt a little bit like taken back and a little bit maybe upset or hurt or disrespected or whatever the case is. And on their side as well. So I feel like once that kind of came to the light and was talked about and, you know, it's in a better place. Like it's one of those things where like I can really say truly now for the first time in the 3.5 years that I've been gone that I'm like, okay, like
you feel
finally
good with yourself.
Yeah. I feel good about, I don't have any things that I feel like are left, you know, I don't want to live my life with things that I wish I did or I shouldn't, you know, I feel like I'm at a place now where it's like everything's out there. Yeah. You know, you know, everything's been talked about. Like, there's no more whispers. Like, you know.
Have you talked about this in public, like on a podcast or something like that? Or is this the first one? Is this the first time that you're talking about it?
It's the first time I've talked about it. I mean, yeah, obviously everybody kind of gets the pieces. Like, you know, my parents get their side. Jordan, you know, my best friend gets her side. And, you know, Mike and Allie get another side. Everybody kind of gets a different side of it. But in a nutshell, like, I know everybody, I feel like it was such a shock that everybody kind of took it as an opportunity to make it something that it wasn't, which made it worse. Yeah. So.
Oh, the rumors start flowing right away.
It was crazy.
And yeah, it was.
And it was like, okay, how am I supposed to move on and be in a new program and start building something when I cannot like break this? Like, you know, people are seeing me and they're like, you know, the kids know who I am. You know, at Cheer Florida, the kids are like the new kids that are new to the program don't know who I am, and they see these other Cheer Florida kids like talking to me and like crying, and they're like, "What is going on?"
Like that's what I saw at competitions. Like all these kids coming to you, giving you a hug. Yeah, and so I was like,
tough. But at the end of the day, like, you know, I still supported. I never wished bad because I was so happy for my kids. Like, some of those kids were waiting to make those teams. Like, Sea Warriors is a perfect example. Like, you know, I had kids that were on Youth 2 or Junior 4 or Senior 3 that, okay, that's the team I want to make. Yeah. So, you know, it was hard for me. Obviously, I'm not a part of the program anymore, and I'm not a part of that team anymore. I'm not a part of that at all, but I can't help but be happy for them. Like, the last 3 years at Worlds that I have not been a part of the program, I still cheered for them. Yeah. I still put on my Sea Warrior shirt. I still get out there and, you know, because I'm happy for them. I'm happy to see my kids on the world's floor, and it's such a blessing to be able to get that far and compete at a high level. Right. That team's good. Right. So, you know, I'm happy for them. Of course, I'm upset. Like, I would love to be your coach, and that, you know, this should have been this way, or I should be, you know, of course, there's all this should have, but bottom line is, I was always happy for them. Yeah. Now, of course, when we get in the divisions together, it's like, I want to win. But when it comes to like something like that, where we don't have a world team. PBL doesn't have a world team. So we don't have like at the end of the day, like, I am going to cheer for them. Like, I'm always going to, those are my children before I had a child. So of course I'm proud of them. Of course I want to see them do well. And not for nothing, like, 2 gyms aside, like, it is nice to see, like, South Florida is so saturated with so many programs that it's nice to see another gym that's not a mega program be able to have a world's team and keep it going that many years in a row. There's a point where Cheer Florida had 2 world's teams. Yeah. So, you know, it's nice to, like, you have to salute that. Worlds is hard. Like, you know, you have to respect it. It's one of those things where you have to take your emotions out of it and just, like, respect the fact, like, hey, they've had this team for years. It's been able to be good for years. Like, more power, you know, good for you, you know. So, and obviously it is rewarding for me to see my kids hit the stage. And, you know, this past weekend we went to Worlds and I was a mess. They got on the floor on Saturday. I was bawling. Like, you can't even help it. Like, you're just so proud of them, and they've reached, like, the final step. A lot of them are seniors, like, you know, and you were there for their first, like, you know, this is my first time at Summit. This is the first time I've won Summit. This is the first time I've won Cheer Sport. And now you get to see them get on the world stage, and it's like, wow, this is what we did this for. Right. So you can't, no matter what takes place, you can't, if you do as a coach, if you do your job for the reasons you're supposed to do your job, you're never going to be upset at your kid's success, whether it's with you or without you.
Right. All right, so last question to wrap things up. Tell me 3 valuable life lessons that you can pass on to an athlete so they can be successful.
I think in cheerleading, you're responsible for all kids. There's boys that cheer, but ultimately you're responsible for women. So I feel like it's so important for me to teach my kids and, you know, any kid that I coach that, you know, you can be a strong woman. Like, you don't need a man, you don't need nothing. You can be that woman on your own. Like, you can have a voice, you can have, you know, a strong opinion, you can be all those things. And I feel like in cheer you get like a great platform to teach young girls that they can be tough and they can be strong, and girls aren't just meant to be, you know, soft, quiet, and pretty. Like, you can have a demanding attitude, you can have a, you know, and it can be a good thing. Like, I feel like that's such an important thing to learn in life, because that benefits them in so many ways. They're not going to get bullied in the workplace. They're not going to get, you know, they're not going to bow down to their, oh, I need a boyfriend. Like, you know, you don't get, you know, I always want to have girls that are strong and confident and just that are powerful. Like, that's so important. And I think, you know, another thing in youth sports in general is like any sport, not just cheer, but when you get into sports, you learn that things are hard and you push past them and they get better. So that's life, right? Yeah. Things are going to be hard. You're going to, whether it's the smallest thing, like, oh, I have to pay a bill, or, you know, I have to find a house, or I have a kid, like, things are hard and you have to figure it out. So I feel like in youth sports, you start learning those things young. Yeah. Like, oh, this is hard for me, but I had to do it anyways. Like, I feel like as crazy as those and as far off of those two things are, they really do go hand in hand. Yeah. Like, life goes on and you got to do it. Right. So, you know, I feel like that's important too. And I feel like third is just, and, you know, obviously, really most important is just like, you have to finish. Like, I think it's important that when you put your kids in things and you encourage extra activities, that you make them finish and you teach them about commitment and, you know, not letting them give up when they run into something they don't like, whether it's a coach they don't like, a program they don't like, obviously within reason. If it's like crazy and the coach is, you know, whatever, then pull your kid. But no, I think it's important that you teach your kids, like, you have to deal with conflict. There's going to be girls on your team that you don't like, that you have to figure it out. There's going to be a coach that you don't get along with, that you have to learn how to respect and deal with. And, you know, so I feel like all those things, those little things that you learn just in cheerleading are in life. There's going to be a boss you don't like. There's going to be someone you don't like, that you just have to figure it out. So I feel like cheer is really one of those things where it's not all just what people think. Like, it's not all the glitter and the bows and the lipstick and it's a big part of it. But, right. You know, it's more than that. Yeah. So, you know, to me, like, I would not be what I am or how I am probably if I didn't cheer. Wow. Like, when I cheered, you couldn't keep me out of the middle panel. You couldn't keep me out of the front of the dance. Like, I wanted to be on, my mom would have let me done 5 teams at a time. And sometimes I did. Like, I wanted to fill in. I always wanted to be on the floor. Like, and I feel like now, like, that I coach, that's how I am. Like, I get in warm-ups, like, I'm hanging out, I'm dancing. Like, I never want another coach to look at me and be like, oh, I intimidate her. Right. I don't get intimidated. Right. Like, I feel like I do the work to not be intimidated. So I feel like I always want my kids to own that. Like, oh, I did what I had to do. Like, I can walk in here with my chest out if I want to. Like, you know, so I feel like that's important. Like, life is hard and, you know, there's always an issue. Like, whether it's, life is life. Like, a flat tire, I gotta take the kid, like, I got kids, like, I want, like, there's always things. Yeah. So, you know, I feel like it's important, you know, to just teach kids how to keep going and not give up and be strong and don't get pushed over and don't, you know, you have to, in order to survive in, you know, the world, you have to be tough and you got to know how to stand on your own 2 feet and, you know, so I feel like those are things that you can start teaching kids young and like, especially with girls, like girls are not nice. So, like, when you have kids at the youth age to junior to their senior year, like, the little youth girls that fight about, oh, I didn't get the team bear that day, turns into them being on a senior team. Now they're fighting over the same boy at school. Like, you know, so you get to be with these kids through all these little pieces of their lives, and you get to teach them how to deal with, like, hard stuff. Right. And ultimately they learn, and they do it, and then you send them off to college, and boom, into life. And I had a girl that she goes to Navy college, and she went through like her training, her like Navy Academy training, and she's like, man, I am so glad you were my coach, because this conditioning. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, like maybe I need to rethink my conditioning program. Yeah. You know, so yeah, but.
So she's saying that your conditioning program was very military style.
Her mom called me and was like, yeah, I'm so glad that we kept going, because, you know, so.
Do you think is a coach's job to kind of like help a kid be confident, or?
100%. Yeah. I feel like ultimately when they stand on the floor, who are they looking at? They're looking at you. Yeah. They're looking at you to be like, yeah, do it. You can do it. Go. Yeah. Like, right. And if you don't do it, I'll be there to help you figure it out. But, you know, we're doing it. Right. You know, so that's kind of how I feel about like when I just walk into something and I have like a certain demeanor. Like, I talked to Emeralds today. I was like, I don't want you guys to walk into Summit tomorrow and be nervous. I don't ever walk into, you know, a warm-up room like I'm nervous. Right. Like we talked about that earlier. Like, I've done that before, and I paid the price. So, you know, I just feel like they feed off of you so much. And like, if you can show them a strong, you know, person that's not phased, they'll follow. Yeah. You know, oh, my coach is coming in here. And that's the same thing how I feel about getting ready. Like, I always tell the kids, I'm like, don't come in here looking any type of way. Like, I could have the worst day ever. I'm still putting on my eyelashes, and I'm still going to show up. Like, you know, you just teach them that you have to do it, and you have to go on, and no matter what it is, you got to do it. Like, I might be having a bad day today. I'm tired. I don't want to be here. My baby woke me up early. I got to get on a plane tomorrow. I got to go coach this team. Like, I have to go do all these things, but I'm still here for you. So y'all still have to be here for me. Like, you know, we always encourage the kids to leave their personal issues at the door. And I think as coaches, you also have to do the same thing. There's plenty of times where, you know, coaches are going through stuff and they don't necessarily want to stand on the front of the floor and count to 8 and deal with your kids. And, you know, there's plenty of days like that. But you do it because you have to. Right. And that's what to me, I always tell coaches, don't ask anything of those kids that you cannot do yourself. Don't ask them to be at the top of the game and you're not at the top of your game. Don't ask them to be perfect and you're not doing whatever you can to be perfect. Right. Don't ask your kids not to drop their stunts and you don't send in your USASF videos or make sure their routines are legal. Like, don't ask anything of them that you're not going to do.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. I love this conversation with you and this chat. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. We're doing this is like a last minute chat. I know we did it. We're gonna do some more. Yeah. But yeah, thanks so much for the last minute chat. It was like a challenge. Set it up, even though this took forever to set up.
I'm so glad. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like you said, it's all these things that have never been talked about.
Yeah.
So